So we have a long way to go. We're actually going to drive 6 hours, and we're going to see something right outside of Louisiana, or actually New Orleans in Louisiana. So we'll pretty much be seeing this in the dark. Job, this will be the first time you've ever been in 4 states in one day. We're going to be in Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama if all goes well. I see a Mansfield bar. Do you see a Mansfield bar, Scott?
I certainly do.
That must mean in 4.5 hours we will be going to where Jayne Mansfield had her accident, just outside of New Orleans. And I'm happy to say, for the first time ever, I am in Louisiana. Check that. John, I, and Scott are in Louisiana. We have crossed the border. Let's go for a walk, huh? Very nice. Quite a bit tonight. We are almost there. It's very fitting that we're here late at night as well. We are very close to our destination. Very close at this point. It was not easy to find, but we did find it. We found the exact crash site memorial right here where Jayne Mansfield's car hit the back of that truck. That's why we were pointing out the Mansfield gate when we came up here, and of course Scott Michaels knows this story better than probably anyone, and even owns the car. You can see here they have a tribute to Jane, Ron, and Sam. Ronald Harrison down here. Jayne Mansfield. Of course, unfortunately her dogs perished. You can see that photo of Jane there. Of course, some photos of her right here. And then Sam Brody. So sad. And they even have a flagpole behind it. So Scott, what happened that night?
Well, the car, it was actually not her car, but it belonged to the man who owned the nightclub, Gus Stevens, where she was performing. And his daughter's boyfriend was driving them from Biloxi that way to New Orleans that way. And Ronnie was behind the wheel. Ronnie Harrison, 19, knew the route very well. And he took the wheel, and it was Ronnie, Sam Brody, her boyfriend, and Jane and the 3 kids in the back. And so Ronnie was overconfident with the drive. And as you saw when we came, there's a long curve.
Yeah.
Now in the distance was an insecticide truck. It was not spraying. It was completely clear. The insecticide truck followed the rules. If the wind was going to blow the fog into the road, he'd stop, and so it was completely clear, but his red light was flashing, and the semi that they were behind, which they really didn't know they were behind, slowed to about 35. I think Ronnie was driving in this direction. He was distracted by the red flashing light of the insecticide truck that wasn't spraying insecticide, and went under the truck without even touching his brakes. So it was a long curve, and it sort of straightens out right in this path, but they went straight under the road, under the truck. The truck driver felt the thud and drove for another 30 yards.
Wow.
And then he got out of the car, and it's dead silence, as you see. Well, that's probably one car that'll pass every 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Dead silence, and all he heard were the children crying in the car. So he went back, and Jane was clearly dead, as was Sam, but he pulled Jane out of the car, and then he got the kids out of the car, and luckily a passing motorist took the kids to New Orleans to the hospital and sent the police back.
And you told me an interesting story about her scrapbooks. I thought was funny.
Yeah,
or not funny, but interesting, you know?
Yeah, Jane was obsessed with her own publicity, and she would play with her scrapbooks the whole way there. And Sam Brody, her boyfriend, knew that and asked Ronnie Harrison, the driver, to unscrew all the lights in the car so she couldn't do it. So she wouldn't be a distraction to the driver. And she was so annoyed she made them pull over to a gas station and have the lights checked. But I guess Ronnie may have talked to the guy at the gas station and said, just let it go. Let it go.
And you said the scrapbooks were in the car?
Yeah. If you look, there are pictures of the accident scene, and you can see on the floor of the car the scrapbook, the clippings.
And somebody even put a pink heart with JM out here on the street, right where they would have crashed. So sad, but if we're gonna come out and visit, I think Scott has probably the most respect for the story and the accuracy of the story of probably anyone, so I'm really honored to get to come out here and pay respects to Jane here with him. So we had a pretty tough time finding it. Look for this speed limit sign when you come out here. Well, my friends, we're gonna call it a night. Thank you all for watching. Get Scott in there. Well, my friends, we're gonna call it a night. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you all next time. Have a great night and goodbye.
Mm-hmm.